Hello, and welcome to the Old Farm Bus Podcast. This is the back of the bus session.
Hello and welcome to the Old Farm Bus Back of the Bus Sessions podcast. Today I've got an old mate on here with me. I'm really excited about this one because he's been on before. He vanished into the social stratosphere. I've not seen you on social media for a long time and I'm gutted about that, but I'm going to find out today why not. So let's jump in and welcome Emeka. Yeah!
Hello, how you doing? Right.
Okay, mental on here, mate.
Yeah.
It's nice to see you, dude.
I'm just happy about the old friend bit because, people might misconstrue that because... No, I'm only joking. I'm taking a piss because I am old. I'm older than you and I've known you for long, so yeah.
I meant long-term friend.
I know what you meant.
It was definitely that.
I was really being silly because I don't care. In fact, I'll be honest with you, I actually get people say, oh, you look much younger than you are, so I'm kind of used to it in the way of if people don't say it, like, why don't you say I'm younger than I am? But I style it, if you know what I mean.
God, how old are you then?
45.
Oh my God!
Don't do that.
No,
don't do that, man.
Okay,
don't do
man.
that.
I won't.
That pause was.
No, honestly.
I thought you knew that.
Not at all. I thought you were in your like 30s.
Oh, behave.
Because what I was going to do then is you say, 35, which is honestly what I thought you were. And then I was going to go, my partner's older than you.
Really?
Because Chrissy, look, she looks
young.
She's 38.
What?
Yeah, I know. We keep. This is a great game, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, she's 38.
It's weird, isn't it? The perception of people, and no one told me your age, but I just assumed 29, 31, 32 at the most.
Wow. Yeah, that's it. I mean, it is funny because we went out the other day and got to a service station, and I just went in to put a couple of quid in the gambler. They wouldn't let her in.
You're joking? What, ID?
ID.
Wow.
But the worst thing is, they let me straight in, and I goes, I've not got my ID. She just looked at me like, you're all right.
You're like, you. Well
another great one is when I was only 17, but I've always just looked old. I think it's the laughter lines.
Yeah. You look old, though. I wouldn't say you look old.
My dad's maybe wise. Let's go wise. Yeah. But at 17, we all went to Magaluf. Yeah. And I'm with my mates, and they all looked like the in-betweeners.
Right.
And we did that thing where you go to girls, and you're sort of like, oh, how old do you think we are?
Oh, yeah.
And the girls are like pointing at my mates, and they go 15, 17, 16, 14 at a push. And then they get to me, and everyone, every time just went, 27?
What?
When I was 17, I don't
see that.
Oh, well, thank you very much, man. Honestly, and I've never took it as offence, but I've always wondered it, though, because it was like, is it the face shape?
Maybe youthful exuberance. Well, to me, you've got youthful exuberance, so that's why I don't see the age thing.
Right, okay. That's a lovely word.
No, but...
Youthful exuberance.
Yeah, but you have. So, to me, I think it's how people act as well as they look. Does that make sense? Two that go together. But people in England are very touchy about age. Very touchy, so I try and steer clear of it.
Have you made any kerfuffles before?
Massively, yeah.
Really? Any that spring to mind?
Because do you know when you do? I used to work in retail, so when you do retail and signing somebody up for a phone, you get their date of birth, don't you? Because obviously you sign them up and they have to. So I was like, all right, and it was an innocent comment. It wasn't aimed at her age. I just said like, so is your mum gonna sign as well? And it was a flipping daughter.
Oh wow, yeah,
bro.
How frosty did that get,
bro? There's no getting out of it. No. And whatever I said, the stare that I got from her all the way through. They still signed the contract, but it's not the point. I said, look, sorry, I didn't mean it. It's just because you. And she said, look, you've dug yourself, or you're not going to get yourself out of it now. It's just you act older and blah blah. Oh god, it just didn't work. But I just took because. I don't know why, I just assumed, and they say you should never assume because it makes an ass out of you and me, and it really did because...
It makes an ass out of you and me.
It really did, because I just thought,
it's quite interesting though, isn't it? Because obviously it's different in sexes, really, the age thing, because
massively.
to be called, you look old as a woman, really makes them feel a certain way, and that was going to cause a lot of barriers. For men... it's kind of something quite cool about
Yeah,
it. There's a
yeah.
lot of like old looking foxes, isn't
Yeah.
there, out there that I can spring to mind. Brad Pitt nowadays.
George Clooney.
Clooney, the main one.
Bex,
I like Rogan, like he's 56 or
Is he?
so.
Yeah, he
Like
looks
nice slap head, but he looks
yeah.
good with it. And
Bill Burr, it looks decent as
yeah,
well.
man.
You
Yeah,
know,
they're
there's a few.
cool guys. So I reckon there's something about, oh, you look quite old though for a guy. It doesn't feel like an insult in any shape or form.
Maybe that's society as well, due to the fact that back in the day, men were always a lot older than the women, because it was security. The man had the job, the man had the money, so it was seen as a respectful thing.
Mate,
in our culture, I'm classed as young still. Do you know what I mean? Like in Nigerian culture, you're like a young boy, especially if you're not married or anything like that. Classed as a youngster, and also I've noticed in Nigerian culture, people don't fuss about age. So the women would like an older guy than a young guy, because, oh, you're too childish for me. I want somebody who's going to look after me and, you know, be my protector and be my guide.
Big penny drop moment there, yeah, mate. That sounded very profound what you said. I mean, and as women, you know, in a patriarchal society, we've based women or throughout time it has been on look.
Yeah. 100%.
So to say you look old just means you're out of your prime.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, because I've always found that look very attractive. There's something matured about it and so on.
Exactly, yeah. Well, now we've got plastic surgery, all these things that people are doing, and I think Bill Burr hit it perfectly. He said, you want to look 50 with a 28-year-old expression that doesn't move, sort of thing. So he goes, there's no age that looks like it. We need to make an age up for it, because people are changing now. It is mad, isn't it? Because you can tell, can't you, as well, when they have had that work done. And this is not a cuss to the people before anyone goes, oh, don't stop hating. If it makes you feel happy, great. But there is a certain look. You can tell when somebody's had work done, and that there's I don't know, it's like a still look, because there's no expression anymore, because everything's pulled straight, and you know, so you can tell that they're older, but at the same time they're holding on to something. But at the end of the day, that's what society's done to a lot of people. And if celebs do it, most people follow, don't they? That's
just trying to keep hold of something,
Keep
not
up with the
lose it, and
Joneses.
wow, beauty, man.
That's why we have that saying, grow old gracefully, isn't it? You know what I mean? Because
That's a lovely saying.
it is a good saying, isn't it? Grow old gracefully, but what does that really mean? Do you know what I mean? What is growing up gracefully?
For me, if you want to like bring it to your own term and own perception, it would be just allowing you to grow
be.
however you should be. But you know, you can prune, like keep your hair trim, keep your beard going, like do those sort of things. But to actually intervene and try and stop the aging process of any of like the wrinkles and so on, it doesn't feel healthy to me necessarily.
No, I know what you're saying.
But I mean, they're looking at literally reversing. I listened to a podcast the other day about the aging process.
I've heard about this.
And just being aging is a disease.
Yeah.
And they're trying to work on
Reversing the aging.
Yeah, reversing the aging.
Demolition
process.
man, cryogenics man, when they put them in the freeze them for ages, so they stay the same looking age for years. But one of the things that's brought me to is the saying, act your age, because that's always, what does that again? Because like if you're acting, you're not being yourself. I always think so. And then what are you conforming to? So does that mean there's a specific sentence or a specific definition of, if I'm 40, I should be dressed like this, I should be wearing this, I should be walking this? You don't act your age, you don't dress your age. What does that mean?
This is another sort of societal programming, isn't it? It's like, you're 10, so you should be running about having fun, but you need to be acting also fairly mature now. You know, you're building up.
You should know better.
You should, and then you're 20. Act your age means you should be in full workflow now. You should be getting out there, making yourself, doing it. 30, right? You should be
married. Kids.
Mate.
It's sad,
it's
isn't it?
really written in the stars, isn't it?
I've said it from early though. I've done it in a poem called School Free. From school, we all moulded. I've said it in I think probably the last podcast to sort of go through stages. So you pass your GCSEs, either go college, start work. You don't go college, go uni. Go college, graduate college, go uni. Graduate uni, get a job, get married, get a kid, get a mortgage. But the funny thing is, do they teach you about tax codes? Do they teach you about how to maintain a mortgage and all these? No, they don't. So you get into these debts, and then they go, right, you've got to do this to get out of it. It's all to me, by design, to keep us in the system, so we're reliant on the system. That's what I think anyway, because I see, and it's also, we do this, we refer, who was the hardest at school, or who was the fastest at school, she was really fit at school. You know, everything refers back to school if you think about it.
Of course.
We go, oh yeah, he was amazing at school, or he was a dickhead at school. It's that thing where we still go back to it.
It's crazy, and that's what you're sort of known for then.
Yeah.
You're bracketed in that. It's sort
crazy.
of your formulative period of life is what you're therefore characterised as for the rest of your life. Oh, he was just, like, for me, it was, as a young kid, I was very butterfly-y, running about, trying things.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I wanted, and I was a big kid. But then at a certain age, I got into boxing, and I lost a lot of weight. And because I could never get girls before, I put a lot of my time and energy in getting girls.
Right,
so then I'd be the player.
Right,
and then ever since then, I've known people meet me in the street and go, "Oh, you're the player."
Yeah.
I'm like,
that was ages ago,
come
mate.
on. I mean, I've got a daughter. I've got a lovely partner that I'm very happy with. But yeah, you never shake that off to some people because they want to stay in that closed realm.
Yeah. And also, it's easy to put somebody in a box, as I say, it's easier to put someone in a box, so it's just easy to categorise them then. Then they don't have to really think about what you're up to now, how have you been, how's life been, what are you changing, and especially if they haven't changed much as well, because what you'll find is, not everybody, but you get some people that are quite, I don't know, competitive or jealous that maybe you're doing something that they could never do or you're doing now. Oh, but you weren't like that. They want you to be that Mike that was the player and the slag. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And that's easier to put you in that box and to keep you there when you've actually changed and matured and developed, and maybe they haven't. And it's like a deflection. Not always, but sometimes it's a deflection from what they're actually not doing
100%
to what you are doing actually.
It just takes a big self-awareness, doesn't it? Even when they're putting you in these boxes and people want you to be still playing that role, know if it fits you or not. And then it's very easy to change your circles, I've found. It's
very, very
it's
easy,
actually not as catastrophic as I put it out to be at one stage. Oh no, I've got to change my whole life, and I don't know, just quite simply, I'm sorry, I've grown out of that now. I'm far from that person, so I'm cool.
And on the topic of friends, you'll probably know this from, you have your own businesses, you have your own enterprise, and one of the things to me was, it was something that was told to me years ago. So until you have your own business, you'll realise who your true friends are, because it's kind of crazy, because you think to yourself, oh yeah, well, he's cool, she's wicked, she'll come through, and then 2 years on, you're thinking, actually, I've never even heard anything from these people. It's not even about buying anything, they've not promoted anything, they've not said. But what I realised was, and this is something that I had to get around, it's not as important to them as it is to you. So they don't have to. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't mean they're not a friend. It just means maybe they've not even thought about even. They just think, is Emeka okay? Is he all good? What's he up to? Cool. I'll holler at him a few times. But the business side, well, I've not really thought about that. I'm his friend as his friend. So I've had to get past that in my head. Also, people have got other things going on in their lives as well.
And I suppose when you were putting a lot on social media, if they were looking over and going, oh, it looks like he's killing it,
I don't need to do anything.
There doesn't feel that need.
Exactly,
but obviously, as you know, and probably why you've separated a little from social media, which I'm sure we can get into.
We will.
That's a 5% spectrum of what your life actually looks like and what it represents.
Exactly, yeah.
So that the real true picture isn't being fulfilled or showcased, but they're getting that image.
Yeah, exactly.
So I like just thinking of social media then, man. Did you make a conscious effort to just say, I'm backing off a bit?
I've done this all the way through social media. I go through stages, cycles, bang, 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 bang on it. Then I'm like, bored for a bit. This is not making any impact now. Oh, I've said too much, or they're used to this. Let me step away from it for a bit. And you know what the funny thing is? I've had people, are you all right? I've seen you on social media now. Whereas before, these are the people that I would not see in real life anyway. But social media is kind of like our meeting place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
So, and because I post quite often on my stories, and I wouldn't say controversial, to me they're not controversial, they're just my views and the way I see things or life experiences. But it interests people. So they're like, oh yeah, I've missed some of your things. But when you're doing it, you're not aware that they're even watching it or reading it, or do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, mate.
The saying of you don't know what you've got till it's gone
is
the reason sometimes why I back away. And secondly as well, there was this boycott thing on Instagram for like, because basically on Insta they were doing this thing where, say if you mention the C word or the V word, COVID or virus, vaccine, whatever, this thing comes up, doesn't it, saying whatever. But yet, I think it was after the England game when the guys missed the penalties, the amount of racist abuse that was being thrown up on social media, and how come there was none of these messages? How come they were able to put, there was games like chop Saka's head off, you get 20 points, chop, do this to Rashford, you get, you know, but with horrible terminologies as well. And that was circulating on Instagram.
Wow.
So I thought, you know what? So anyway, one of my friends who runs the Derby BLM said, "Oh, we're doing a boycott for the weekend." So I did it for the weekend. I thought, you know what? Let me stay off it for a bit. What do I need to go back on it for? Because what's a weekend going to do?
Yeah.
And also the funny thing is, I deleted the app, and I found myself going to my phone every so often when I was bored to go onto it. Do you get me? And I realised that it was an addiction. It is kind of an addiction. And one of the things I've always said,
kind of,
yeah, it is.
definite,
100% is. I've always said I believe that I'm one of these people that I can do without most things. Can't do without music, football, food, obviously, but things
bare
like
necessities.
Exactly, bare necessities. It's for real. But things like social media, I don't really need it. I mean, it's great for promoting business, but do I need it? Does it keep my heart beating? Does it keep my soul ticking? No. What I do, my poetry, my workshops, my...
Yeah, which we're going to get.
Yeah, my book, plug.
And we're going to get one in there in a minute as well.
I'll keep the page as well. Things like that, they keep me going. They're the ones to put, and you know what the beautiful thing is, Mike? When I came off social media, you know what I found? I was writing more.
Really?
Much more. And as well, you mentioned it earlier before we came on air. I can't remember if you said it on air, but listening more to other people.
Yeah, that was just before.
Picking
Powerful,
the phone
isn't
up. Yeah. Because I think a lot of it, because we're speaking maybe on Messenger, we didn't pick the phone up to talk to each other. I'm talking about my real friends, you know. And I found I was doing it more and going to see them in real life, actually.
Wow.
Not virtual reality. Old school,
yeah.
And check this out. Turn it up without telling them.
Oh, my God.
Proper old school, bro.
Yeah.
You know? Because I've got mates like that. And we used to do it to each other. Then we stopped. And it's like, why? Because we see each other every day on social media. So we feel like we've seen each other when really we haven't. Because all I'm talking about is things that are pissing me off or promoting true colours, and all he's talking about is his business and maybe the picture of them going out for a couple of beers with his missus. So you think you're talking, you're not though.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
completely.
It sort of made me think, actually, that stopped me from doing a lot of things. So what I'm trying to say to you is the times when I go to my phone to go on it, I do something productive. But that urge has gone to go onto the phone. Now I've got used to not being on it. It's brilliant because now I'm doing stuff like this and going to do my mentoring and going to meet people. And I mean real life, not social, virtual, sorry.
Has it dramatically impacted you on how you feel on the daily then now?
Yeah, man.
Are you genuinely in a much better place than how you were
I feel
before?
so, because I was getting pissed off sometimes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes, you know, when people say stupid, it's like... I want to give an example, but I don't want to mention this person's name. But like it was. I said something about. I think it was the English fans booing the national anthem. I was like, it's embarrassing. I said because no other nation does it. We do it, and then somebody was like, "Oh, that's a shit comment" or something. Words to that effect. I can't. It was something stupid anyway. And then I was like, "How is it a shit comment when it's it's the truth? What is? Tell me any positive about booing a national anthem when we're supposed to be first world country. We're supposed to be this upper echelon people, better than everyone else. If you're
people to look up
to, yeah. So how you boo? It doesn't. It's like when people make those monkey noises in the ground. I'm thinking, how does that make you a better person than the people that you think you're better than?
Yeah.
You look stupid for one.
Yeah.
A 5-year-old wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Can you imagine going to the middle of Tesco?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just looking around going, what are they doing?
Yeah,
the 5-year-old would be doing that. Like, are you all right?
Yeah, you're right. And it seems perfectly acceptable in a football ground, in a football stadium. And this is what I'm coming to, Mike, as well, is that, isn't it funny, when we're in certain environments, certain behaviours are accepted or not spoken of. And then when if you did that if you went to Aldi, for instance, and did that in the middle of the aisle, at the person at the checkout, people would be going, that is disgusting, that is awful. But then people go, oh, but it's a small minority. But I say, these people are sat in the middle of thousands of people. So if it's a small minority, how come they're able to get away with it? Why don't the majority say to them, what the are you doing?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You need a slap. They know that these people aren't saying anything. That's why they're comfortable to do it. So it's not a small minority.
Mate, I've got to
Do you know
give
what I
you
mean?
that. I've got to give you that because it is true. If you've got a minority acting in a certain way, the majority usually prevails.
Exactly.
And it stops
Exactly.
existing.
Yeah.
But I've been to matches, and genuinely, that is a part of the reason I don't go to football matches anymore.
Same.
Because I don't think they're enjoyable places a lot
No.
of the time. It's just too much of a mixed crowd as well. You've got really boring people that won't let you stand up and do anything.
Yeah. And then you've got the
And then you've
nutters.
got the nutters over there that are acting in such a way. And I have seen it in certain matches that I went to, and I thought, this is just disgusting. And, you know, I didn't do it at that time because I felt, well, not like shouting, oi, right, come and stop it. But I thought, this is insurmountable.
Yeah.
And I did feel a minority there because I was looking around like, is nothing...
No one's going to say anything.
They're all just sitting, watching, staring. Nobody's enjoying the experience.
Yeah.
I get it, man.
Yeah.
I totally get it. And I think...
And kids are there, bro. Some of them bring their children to that.
I'm talking, this is a few years ago as well.
Yeah.
But imagining going now, I probably would shout, so like, what are you fucking doing?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
it's obviously so ripe. So, like, so much has happened since.
Exactly,
It's really in the forefront of
Yeah.
people's minds. And you go, come on.
We use this phrase first world. I always say this. What does that mean? I always question things. So what does first world mean? People are blinded because of technology. So they think if we've got a nice car, beautiful house, and somebody's living in a mud hut, let's say, they think this in Africa, so they think they're better than them. Well, let me tell you something. As I said to you before, I go to Nigeria regularly. When I go there, some of the people don't live as rich as people here, but some of them do live a lot richer than people here. But let me tell you that everybody's respectful, as in the youngsters, the way they talk to you, hello, good morning, how are you, sir? Not even necessarily, sir, good morning, how you doing? You don't get that over here. To me, first world means you act better. Not act better, you are better. Acting is one thing, you are a better person. So if you're first world, skin colour wouldn't even be relevant here because you'd be above that mentally.
Yeah.
That would be like, what are you talking about? That's ridiculous. But we're so not first world, bro, because we accept these things still to this day. Sexism as well, homophobia, hating somebody because they're born and they're like a man. So what? Why does that bother you? Or a woman likes a woman, so what? Do you know what I mean? And it's like...
It is probably because we are living in so much abundance.
Yes.
And we've just
believe it.
anaesthetised, and boredom has crept in so
100%.
vividly that, you know, we're scrolling through and you
What
want
can I find?
I feel it is a lot of fear-based. There's a lot of loneliness in people's hearts. A lot of anger fills that because they're not happy in their existence, because you should be. You've got all the materials, all the food, the shelter, everything you need. So then they're at this stage of absolute boredom that they're thinking, oh, do you know what? I want to feel a part of something. I want to feel a part of a tribe and a part of a team.
100%.
And unfortunately, the most tenacious ones and the most ones that make you feel so at home and so you're part of us are often the bigots, or often the most racist or hate-filled ones are the ones that can build the biggest sense of community.
Yeah, exactly.
So then they feel they've got something to live for and something passionate driven. It's really disgusting when you think about it, but that they're priming and that they're pulling off of people that are very unfulfilled, very unhappy in their life. That's
100%.
what they're preying from.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a sad state of affairs, and then it's how do you change that, because you've got to, what you were mentioning then, third world countries. When
Exactly.
you go out to a lot, I've had experiences in, you know, we're saying, well, they get their needs met, and because it's more of a struggle to get them needs met, they're not doing them silly things that just get in the way of the day, really.
Exactly, yeah. But you know, I'm going to say something, and this is, again, because I always say travel is the enemy of ignorance. So the more you travel, the more you can compare to where you live. So I'm going to say this, people might not like it, but things like anxiety over in those countries don't happen as often as here. Things like wanting to change your sex don't happen as much, because they've got more I don't know, it's not more important things to think of, it's the wrong way to say it, but they're trying to survive. They're trying to make a living in just getting from A to B, whereas we've, as you said, we've got everything here. So a lot of the times, I think, as it is, might be boredom. Sometimes it might be like, I'm watching so much TV that this is going into my head. and now I feel a certain way, so I feel like I have to do something to change that.
You're not just extrapolating here. You're talking of genuine statistics.
Yeah,
This is statistical evidence that anxiety is incredibly low in these certain places.
100%.
The other things that you mentioned there are incredibly low in these certain places.
And they're classed as third world.
There has to be correlation with that in some way or another.
Of course,
and for me, the things I really noticed was when people were living in that sort of very harmonious, wholesome aspects of the nature, where they thought, oh, I'm happy because today I've got all the food for the day, but they're living day to day like that. We know for the next month, I'm cool, I got my food, I'm forever got my house, that's paid off, I'm done. It's right, let's accumulate materials because I get that dopamine release or that serotonin shot that I need.
Exactly.
Whereas they are very much living in more of that primatal, instinctive, humanistic value system. And
also, bro, it goes to culture as well, because this gets passed down. Because even when you are from a well-to-do family over there, it's still the same mentality. I want you to be an accountant, a doctor. I want you to succeed. I want you to succeed. So we're going to do everything we can to help you to succeed. Do you know what I'm trying to... I know we have it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we don't have it here. What I'm saying to you is that more and more that culture is going away from this country. Whereas, like, I'll give you an example. I used to be a tutor. You ask them what most of the kids want to be. Famous.
Yeah.
Not specific of anything, just famous. What does that mean? Be on TV, be on a reality TV show, and they don't see the other side of it, where some of these guys are committing suicide because of all the abuse they're getting from people because they want to be in that position. It's an oxymoron, but what we're doing here is we're actually feeding in the negative, feeding it in, but making it look like glamorous, making it look like it's something wonderful, if you know what I'm trying to say. And then the next thing you know, I don't know, there was a program like What Happened to Them After This, and loads of them were like, you've had these mental health problems, they've got flipping, a few of them have killed themselves as well, and it's, people aspire to, what are people aspiring to? This Instagram lifestyle of car, money, girl, beach, tattoos, tans. I don't know, bro. It's just, to me, it seems irrelevant. And this is, again, going back to True Colours, why...
You got a song out about this, haven't you?
Yeah. And this is
What's it called? Just plug that.
Which one, sorry?
The one, the paparazzi one.
Oh, Read All About It.
Read All About It, yeah.
You helped me do the video.
I couldn't remember the name, but I was like, I've been and seen a couple of your videos recently.
Yeah.
The ones we did together.
Yeah.
It's particularly the Culture Clash.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember where I was, but again, the premise about this food thing came up, and somebody was talking like, oh, it's my mate Jay Littles. You should do a podcast with him, actually. You two.
Oh, does he do podcasts?
Well, he's going to come on here and start doing another one. We're calling it the In Time On Time podcast.
Oh, sick.
He was talking about black time.
Right,
His family live on black time, which is very laid back and chill.
Yeah.
But he's a very good friend of mine, and I'd love you as a guest, mate. I reckon we could actually try and get you as to be a semi co-host thing.
Yeah, man.
Because we get on a good vibe.
We can work it, bro.
But yeah, he was just talking about when his dad came in to do a school assembly and talk about black culture, and he brought this food in, and the teacher ate some, but she had to try and equate it to something English. She's like, oh, it's just like...
Yeah.
It's
Why do we always do that?
And just trying to sort of dismantle it and just bring it back to our culture.
Exactly.
And then she was like, oh, it's all right. But... He's like, what did you expect? For elephants to enter the room and big drum going off and all this?
It's like when somebody eats a frog leg. Oh, it's like chicken. No, it isn't like chicken. I've had a frog leg before. It's nothing like it. We always try to westernize or familiarize something, but there's nothing wrong with difference.
But sorry to jump in on, you were talking about materialism and more about, you read all about it, idea of life. Because it is. Have you seen the film... So documentary series actually called Hypernormalization.
No, never. What's it on?
Adam Curtis is the documentary maker.
Is
I'll send it you over, but everything you're explaining then, he basically gives a timeline from 1900s to where we are now of why it became this intense. And simple, it's a 4-hour documentary. Yeah. You can go in and out of it.
Yeah.
But in simple, follow the money. You find the root of the problem.
Exactly, which is always the case, isn't it? It's always the case.
The concept to me that made the most sense was, it's a guy called Edward Bernays, if you'd heard of him.
Right.
But again, we used to buy things on utility, like you've got feet, you need shoes.
Yeah.
But Edward Bernays realised, well, then you're killing a customer. Because as soon as they bought the product, they're out.
Yeah.
So what it was, Edward Bernays turned it to buy these, you will be sexy.
Right, yeah.
And then he brought in this idea of competing against one another in who's got the highest profile things, and materialism started taking away from that. I think that was in the 40s.
Wow.
But and then the way it sort of builds up and it goes into the sort of technological advances. But yeah, it's good. I'll ping you that over,
Bro,
man.
you know what? You've just reminded me of something, actually. So I saw this, a comedian was talking about it, but do you know Gillette the razor
Yes.
was originally for women?
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Yeah.
Do you know that? And then
I've watched the same comedy.
yeah, the South African guy. I think
Yes,
is. Yeah,
yeah.
sick. And I couldn't believe that. And then when basically, I think when when the men went to war. No, it was for men first. Sorry. And then when the men went to war, it was only women, so they had to market it saying women need to have smooth legs to be sexy and attractive. It's mad, isn't it? And then that became a thing where women start shaving their legs, but it wasn't even done before. And you know what I mean? And like now, if a woman doesn't have legs shaved, they're classed as disgusting.
And it's crazy. Like, women used to be seen as sexy with having hair.
I know.
And for people to become trapped in conditioned mind. The one thing I find very strange is when people are trapped in conditioned mindset, but then are like, "Oh, I can't believe they think like this."
Yeah.
And you're like, "What about your
Exactly, yeah.
preconditions?"
You're just doing exactly the same thing, you know.
A funny one for me, and actually, this is a good mate of mine, but he's an advocate of semen retention.
Right.
And I'm all cool. I respect him. I think it's probably got a lot of efficacy, and there's some science behind it where it does stimulate the brain in different ways. You're not just looking to load off and so on. There probably is a lot of science behind it, but he's so certain that this is the way of being. He's so assertive towards people. This is a way of being. But then he's very anti-vax, like very anti-vax.
Right, yeah.
The way anti-vax people would talk to him, he'd be like, "Oh my God, they're so conditioned."
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, the way you are with your belief on this can come across like that a little bit. And I think people just need to like take a back off a second.
Step out of the bubble.
How would you feel being spoken to in this way and directed in this way and made to feel you're not good enough in this way, whatever it is, you don't know, you're not clever enough to work out this thing.
Exactly. It's that's what, again, I keep going back to it, but that's why I'd started this label, because it is, like I say, about the individual and the individual's choices. Whereas if you want to do something, I don't want to do it. That's cool, man, but you don't have to force your ideas onto me. Does that make you feel better that that I do what you do? So what I'm trying to say is, so the idea of, let's go to the word racism. Racism basically stems from difference.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Racism is, you're different to me, and there's less of you, so we're going to hate you. That is what it comes down to. Because like I say, no one will do it to you face to face. It's always majority against minority. So like, what is wrong with I was watching something, Enoch Powell, actually. I watched him I watched some mad things on YouTube. You know, you go down the rabbit hole. And he was saying, like, there was one guy debating with him, really posh, both of them, and he was saying, yeah, but it's inevitable that people with difference, he goes, you're gonna, it's funny, he mentioned Birmingham, he goes, and you want Birmingham to have, and it is so multicultural now, this is in the 60s, 70s,
right, okay.
to Birmingham to have all these, and I'm thinking, but if you go to Birmingham, you can get every single food on the planet, and people actually will go to Birmingham to get certain things. You can go to the Indian gold you can get from there, you can go and get your Caribbean food, African food, but anyway, what I'm saying is that he was saying, if difference comes together, what I'm worried about is that we're not going to get on. So I'm thinking, but this is stupid, because are you telling me you get on with your brother, your sister, your dad, your mum? You're supposed to be the same. So you never argue with people that look like you. It doesn't make sense. You know, it's an asinine concept when you think about it. And also as well, this is the bit I don't get, is why wouldn't you want difference so that you can learn from it? Do you know what I'm trying to say? I don't get why. What is it a selfishness, or is it an insecurity that people don't want difference? Why? What's the fear of difference?
I think there's so much behind it, because there's probably a fear element. It's all down to the individual, because another element is just the condition. There's conditioned people, so they're just doing what others do, and that's a part of it. It's just this mindlessness of not wanting to think other, so they're just like, oh, I'll just do what my mate's doing. Easy access,
lazy.
But I suppose it's so hard to break down. It's very everything's got a wide spectrum, hasn't it?
Yeah.
There's contextual ideas for any existence like that. But I suppose breaking it down, for me, a lot of people are scared of having to mold to that their existence. It's like on Lord of the Rings, isn't it? You've got
I've never watched it,
mate, well, I'll explain it. Or the whole thing is like 7 hours.
I was going to say it here for ages.
You've got the hobbits, and they live in this really nice little village.
Yeah.
And they know nothing ever bad happens here. It's just you wake up, they know exactly what the day's going to be and how it's going to be, and they've found real comfortability within that.
Sounds like Hot Fuzz or some.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and then this one day there's Bilbo Baggins, the main character Hobbit, but he just. There's something like longing in him where he wants something, difference, adventure, other, and he's whisked off and he experiences this world and he can't go back to his other then.
Right.
So then it's sort of this like, if I do open my eyes, then I'm not going to get back to what I know.
Right.
And I think there's potentially that, but that there must be so many factors and reasons behind irrationality.
The guy next to, or who was debating with Enoch Powell said, which was quite profound. I can't say it in the way he said it because he said it in such elaborate, eloquent, posh, old English. Articulate, mate. It was. But he basically said, do you not think that the narrative you put across by saying these people coming here are going to do this and change this and scare you is putting it into people's minds so that people think this is going to happen? Because if you just give, it's like he said, if you give somebody, well, he didn't say this, but this is the way I see it. If you give somebody, they've never seen water before, and you give them a glass of Coke and water, they've never seen Coke and never seen water, and no one said that one's sweet and that one's tasteless, you would go for the one that took your eyes. You would try both because you want to know which one you thought was suited you better because you like that one taste. No one told you that was sweet and that was tasteless. You just go for the one that suits your taste buds. Now, if you turn around and say, if you never knew what sweet tasted like, if we never tasted sweet before and all we tasted was water, right? And all of a sudden we drink that water, you think, that's water. Damn, the hell's this? Woo! You know what I mean? It's like, geez, what's going on here? And I think this is how I would look at difference to me. It's like, wow, okay, all right, that's too sweet for me. I don't want it. But at least I've tried it. People use this phrase, preference. And I say, how can you have a preference if you've never tried or experienced anything different? You can't. You can't say you've got a preference because preference means prefer. Prefer means you've tried something to compare it to the thing that you've already had. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Completely.
But people use that word preference like...
Yeah, it's just my preference.
Yeah, but how can you have a preference when you've never experienced anything else?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Oh, completely agree.
So that annoys... Because we use words that in this... Well, maybe in every country, but in England I've noticed we use words that the meaning is not correct or we're not using it in the right context. Like even, like I say, race. Politicians say it all the time. Different race, there's no such thing as a different race. We are all one race, which is human. But there's different ethnicities. But no one ever says different ethnicities, they say different race.
It's like when we used to call people coloured.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do you know how many shades of colour there are?
Exactly.
There is a white, or a weirdy pinky one.
Yeah. And the irony is there's that poem, isn't there, where white people... They blush when they blush. They go red. When they're bruised, they go purple. When they're sick, they go green. And you know what I mean. And when they bleed, they go red. And they call us coloured. And we stay the same colour.
Funny.
So my dad used to say when he came to England in the '60s, he said they called me coloured. He said, "So are you colourless then? Are you transparent? So I can see through you then?"
Yeah.
And they used to hate that.
If they call you coloured, then you can see through them.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's
I know what you're about, mate.
Yeah, I know you. I can see right through you.
Yeah.
Like windows. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's the thing where I think you said it earlier. It's about thinking about what we're saying. It's about not like you say act your age. These sayings we have, we just use them. We don't really think about what they mean and where they come from and why we're saying them. We just use them because, as you say, other people use them. It's like a laziness, isn't it?
There's some even like really silly ones that we just say. I mean, this one always struck with me is like, you can't have your cake and eat it.
Yeah.
I'm like, right, if I've got a piece of cake right in front of me now, guess what's happening?
I'm going to eat it, and it's fine.
So why say, I mean, get the premise, but it's got to be better sayings to be made.
You can't have my cake. I can eat it. You know what I mean? That makes sense.
Is this why you came into being a poet then, because you noticed all this sort of language being misrepresented, misused.
Yeah, bro, it's all these things. But the thing is, I think my dad has always been, I always mention my dad on these things. He loves it. But he always made me question things. So it's like, or I told you before in the last podcast, he always said, go and look it up. So one of the things, even up till now, I still do it. Like, I look things up. So it's always this challenge of, what does that actually mean? What does that saying mean? I don't get it. So whereas other people just use it, but like, what's the origins of it? Why do they say that? Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Why do they say that? And then I realise why they say it, because you count the horse by the teeth. And the older the more teeth they have, the older the horse is. So they say you're ungrateful, basically saying you give me an old horse. But I think I said this on the last podcast. But what the point I'm trying to make is that that satisfied me when I found out the origin of it. I get it now. I'm not going to just use it if I don't know what it means.
I think. Okay, to answer your question again, it's just people haven't been taught to think.
Yeah.
that
goes back to that school
biggest...
conversation again.
Yeah.
Like not expanding. You're not an individual at school. You're the team player saying again. Team player, you're a team player, you're not a team player. All these things that are drilled into us. So not being a team player means you're bad and selfish. But if you don't agree with something, then surely that's your right to not do it, isn't it? If you're forcing me to do something that so say if everyone has to dive off the top diving board, I'm scared of heights. Oh, you're a pussy, you're a dickhead, oh, you're not part of the team. Well, no, I feel like I'm going to die if I do that. Yeah. So you're saying my feelings are less important than my conformity. And this is in so many other things. And people get upset when you go against the grain, like with the corona thing and all that, not wanting to wear a mask and people wanting to wear. I'm like, let people do what they want to do, because without the news, you wouldn't have had a clue that this thing was around anyway. You've just been told it.
I think a lot of people just struggle to be empathic
themselves. Yes,
as well. Because that what you just mentioned then, you're on top of a height thing, and then they're shouting at you like, oh, you can't do that, you won't do that. But then let's say another situation, they've got to eat a gross thing. Yeah. And then you're in your element now, and they can't, and they wouldn't just correlate that. They would, and they think, oh, because I'm confident in this situation, or I've not got to do it, or whatever it is, or I'm the majority. They feel set in that. I get to be powerful now.
Yeah, exactly.
And then as soon as it's spun, we've all felt it, even being at school. If you've ever changed school and you were the top dog here, and then you've ended up going into a new
environment, and you've got to start all over again.
That was me. Yeah, definitely.
Same me. I went from, like I say, from 2 different junior schools, St. George's, St. Joseph's. Then I went to St. Benedict's to Worksop College boarding school. And that was a massive, drastic change from, like I say, it was comprehensive to boarding school. And then finding your feet there, finding how they do things, the culture, and just being that person again. But it also shows you how insignificant we are when we challenge ourselves and put ourselves into environments which we're not fond of. And I think this is why, again, why a lot of people who are racist, who are sexist and homophobic, they are just scared of something that they're not used to. That's all it comes down to. They're scared of things that, well, we've always done it this way.
Yeah.
Well, that's the word change. That's why there's the word change in the dictionary, and change is for a reason. If something has been lasting for a long time, it doesn't mean it's great. It just means nobody's decided to change it. I gave an example yesterday. I used to work in Selfridges in London, and I used to be a host. I loved it because you get to walk around, you see all these celebrities. I met Jamie, Skepta, Olivia Giroud, who was a Mardi Git. Not to me, but he wouldn't sign some of his autograph. But like, I'm coming down the escalator now. They used to tell us to get there at 8:30. I hope I didn't say this on the last podcast, did I?
No.
Yeah, good. Because I'm thinking, what else? But like, they say get there for, I think it's 8:30. The shop opens at 9:15. So you go in, you have your debriefing, 5 minutes, you get your shit, and then they go into your positions. And I'm like, hang on a second. So it's now 8:20. So no, sorry, it's now 25 to 9, and it doesn't open till 9:15. I'm hungry, and there's a cafeteria upstairs, so I'm gonna have some breakfast then. So I have breakfast, and I'm coming down the escalator, and it's really high. And I can see the manager. You know when he's at the bottom, but there's like zigzag escalator. I can see him like this, and I'm thinking it's so high at the start. But you know when you get further down, I think, is he looking at me? Then you get to a bit further down, he's looking at me. And he's waiting for me. Now he's come to the bottom of the escalator, and all my brain's thinking, what can he be wanting me for? What have I done? Have I not got the? Anyway, so I get to the bottom of the escalator, and he's like, "What time do you call this?" I'm like, "It's 10 to 9." And he's like, why aren't you in your position? I'm like, I'm going to my position now. He's like, but you should have been there at past. And I said, but the shop doesn't open till 9:15. He said, yeah, but that's what you do here. And I said, why? He said, but they're the rules. And I said, but because of the rules, it doesn't make it right. And he said, but this is what we've always done here. I said, yeah, but that doesn't mean it's okay. I said, I'm just standing there, and then secondly, you want us to be lively and polite to the customers. So for 45 minutes, literally, I'm going to be standing there, or whatever, 30 minutes, waiting for nobody. And also, by the way, you can't talk to the person. You know, the other host is about the end of this bus away, so you can't even have a chat with anybody. And you just stood there like a robot. So I didn't do it. And what I'm trying to say to you is, because I challenged it that day, then other people started going to the cafeteria the next day, and then they locked it off. They changed it after a while. But they told the agency I was trouble because I challenged him. But I challenged him in a way, if you can tell me why, and I think this is a justified reason, I'll do it. But you had no reason. He goes, they're the rules. I hate that. What does that mean? So like I say, slavery was once legal, so that means it's okay, does it? You know, beating up gay people was legal. That was okay? That was legal, bro. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So
they are the most sort of disruptive words ever, and the most sort of
they are the rules.
Yeah. That's the way it's always been.
Yes,
that's just the way it is. That's the way it's always been. I feel the exact same way with when I was at school. You know, there was some lessons where you're sitting there and you're just going, what is this nonsense? Like, seriously, what are we doing today? Yeah. And so then me being me, very much like you, like hand in the air, so why are we doing this? Seriously, why are we doing it? And he's just like, well, just do it. We're doing it. And then I go a bit further. And then by the time I push him too far, it's just get out, go.
Dismisses you.
I mean, even if he could, not even to give me a justified reason, if he'd have broke it down going, listen, Mikey, I know you don't want to do it. In fact, I don't really want to teach you because I think it's obsolete. But if you get through this, then you can learn to pass an exam, which is basically what we're doing. To pass exams, though, you can open doors. And to open doors, you can find out what you truthfully want in life. Just to break it down to that step, I'd go... I might not do it,
but I get it.
I wouldn't keep questioning. I go, that's as far as I think we can go.
And also, to me, it's a justified, even though yes, we might not agree with it, might not like it, but at least it's a justified. It's better than they are the rules, or just do it, or get on with it. You know, because
and that's what majority of my teachers would say. You just do it. That's just as it is.
That's just the way it goes. Like,
it's so dangerous.
Another thing as well. There's one place where you can't wear hats. I'm not going to say where it is, but I had a scar on the back of my head, right? And then the woman said to me, you know, you're not supposed to wear hats in it. I said, have you asked me why I'm wearing it, though?
Yeah.
And she went, well, why are you wearing it? I said, well, now you've asked. Thanks for asking. I've got a scar on the back of my head, and I need to keep it covered. It's already plastered up. She went, well, sorry, I didn't realise. I said, well, I said, sometimes maybe you should ask before you tell people the rules. And then she said to the head at the time, not the manager, He's very, very cocksure of himself. And the only reason why is for the simple fact, the way she spoke to me, I reciprocated it. Because you shouldn't be wearing a hat in it. Not, do you know you're not supposed to be wearing hats in it or whatever, you know, just come across in a sort of...
authoritative, sharp
I hate that,
demeanour.
Though. It puts my back up. So
just because they've got the tiniest amount of power. Tiniest amount.
Jobs worth, though, I call them. And the thing is that and do you know what? I'll be honest with you, Mike, I can be a Mardy twat sometimes. I can be a Mardy twat. I can be grumpy. I can be moody. I can be rude to people as well. But you know, one of the things that I don't do is when somebody doesn't know something,
make them feel
to feel like they've how can I put it to you, like they should know, sort of thing, and almost belittle you. But I'll be honest with you. Yesterday, somebody said that they didn't like my attitude. I'm not going to say where it was because I don't want to incriminate the thing where I was. But
was it a school? Was it like a?
No, it was an event. Let's just say.
Okay.
And then they was asking me questions, but he could see I was doing something, and it was quite stressful because there was time constraints. Yeah, man. And then he kept asking me, and I said, "Can you ask the owner of the place, please?" And I said, I don't know, that's the owner. And that was all I said to him. Then he asked me something, I said, I don't know, you have to ask the owner again. And anyway, I thought I'd lost my wallet, so I went to look for it. And by the time I come back, the manager tells me, oh yeah, that guy's gone. He said he didn't like your attitude. I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, but I'll be honest with you, I was a bit stressy. I wasn't rude to him. I was just like, mate, I can't help you here. But you could see I was doing something. So I'm not saying that I wasn't all nicey, but I wasn't rude. I was just like, mate, can you ask her, please? And if it was me, and he's a grown man, and if it was me, you can see he's a bit stressed, a bit busy. And there's that empathy again.
Straight back to the
exactly.
empathic.
So,
yeah.
but the onus is on me now that I've got the attitude, so that's why he's not staying there.
Yeah.
And then I was told it, and then the beautiful thing was, the guy goes, well, I was stood next to you, and I heard the way he spoke to him, and you said nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Because you actually said the right thing, because I would know the answer to that anyway, and that's why I said that's the owner. So I was kind of glad in that way, but it still annoyed me that the fact that he took the onus on me, so he put the onus on me, that it was me who made him leave, when I didn't say any such thing. He just didn't want to ask them, but then I found out this person has... he's got diva tendencies, so to speak. So when I found out a few more things afterwards, but it kind of makes sense. But it's that thing of, like you say, trying to think from somebody else's point of view. And then I thought about my side, and I thought, well, could I have handled that better? I did think this afterwards, because I'm a thinker. So I thought about it after. I thought, could I have handled that better? Maybe I could have handled it better, like saying, look, mate, I don't know. I'm not too sure. But all I'm thinking is, but I still would have come to the same thing, ask the manager. But I just said it, I don't know, ask the manager. I didn't go into any explanation, but it's pretty obvious I didn't know what I was doing. And also, you could see that I was literally on something. So I've tried to hold myself accountable more than anybody would hold me accountable for what I've done. You know, if I've messed up, I'm the worst person to kill myself for it. But at the same time, what happens with a lot of people is they'll condemn you, and then that's it.
Yeah.
You're that person from then onwards. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally know what you mean. I suppose that comes back to that element of there really aren't the people to be around.
Yeah, exactly.
So if they're not understanding or giving allowance for you to be human in that moment, I don't need them in my life.
That's the way I look at it now, Mikey. Unfortunately,
I think it's a great way of being, man. It helps you a lot.
Process of elimination, I call it. Do you know what I mean? Because
tiptoe around.
I don't need those
trying
people.
To adhere to everyone's needs and pander. It makes you're not being your authentic self. There's no way. If you're just trying to sort of, and I've done it, you can imagine, mould to fit everybody else around you and make them like you. I think there's that saying, isn't there? If everybody likes you, you're doing something wrong.
It's so true.
I truthfully understand the power behind that now. And I do it here a lot. I try and turn it into humour, because when we're putting on an event, especially like a festival, you know, me and Chrissy, with the faces of what we're doing, really. So nobody understands when they're here. You've got the musicians that want to know when they're on and what they're doing. You've got somebody who might have employed someone to be on the bar. She wants to know what's cracking off. And by the end of it, you've got about 40 people, more wanting to know what's cracking off. And I've done the best I could do to give out as much information as possible. I thought I knew everything that was going off, and then just little nuances and intricacies of the day kick into place. You go, oh right, I forgot about, oh sorry, okay, wait. And then suddenly you've got a list of about 20 things. And there was one day I remember I went onto the bar, and the bar lady said, one of our friends said, like, oh, have you got this and that? I went out, I thought I'd got it, went and bought her that. And then she goes, oh, can I get this and that? And I just as a joke, but then I think it did sound sharp. I said, oh, just put it on the back of the 20 list that I've got or something. And then I did, like same as you. I walked off and I just reflected. And I went, I don't know if that was funny. It come so I went back in and I went, I'm really sorry about that. She's like, I know you're busy. So it was, and it was good that I'd gone back and reflected quickly, and I could rectify it, because I did know how I came across.
But he left, so by the time I come out, he'd left, and not just that, he never said it to me as well. And also, why did you leave when I left? Do you know what I'm trying to say? I wish you'd have left when I was there, and I would have explained to him, look, bro, this has happened. But I didn't think anything of it, because I didn't. But anyway, it's by the by. But this is life, Mike, and this is one of the things about life. I am a sensitive soul, 100%. I overthink a lot of times. I ponder over things, and things hurt me when some people say things, especially when I don't believe it's true, because I think I didn't deserve that. But at the same time, have I wronged people in the past? Yes. Have I been rude to people in the past? Yes. Have I done people? Yeah. So maybe that's my karma further down the line with people that I've never done anything to. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah.
So I always have to think about that as well. It's like, if people have got a problem with me, I'd rather you just tell me, and then we can sort it out. We can talk it out. But if you just go off and go, I don't like him because he's done that, then I've got no respect for you and no time for you, because I can't do anything about something that you're not telling me.
I think that...
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, this was I did that podcast with Warnock. Do you know?
Yeah.
But he was saying one of his biggest downfalls in life was, say, even if somebody opened the door for him and he went through and they didn't like say thank you or whatever, he'd be like, oh, thank you then, or whatever. Yeah. But he's like, have I ever done that? And just going back and reflecting and thinking, could I have ever just been a little bit ignorant in the time, or just let somebody down, or I've not been feeling good? And you know, we're human.
We are,
So as you're saying there, you can sometimes be a knob, or you've sometimes done this. If you're hungry on a day, you're a different person.
You've just got to take the words out of my mouth, because when I'm hungry, I'm horrible.
If you're hungry on a day, if you're tired, if you're
stressed,
but also then if you've had the brilliant day, you're a different person. We're always different people.
Yeah.
And then how you meet somebody on a day, you've just got to understand what day they've been on and what day you've been on. Just might not correlate.
Yeah,
it's just part of life. And if you see him again in a pub in a week's time, it might be a good altercation where you both
usually
go,
is in a pub, bro.
Yeah.
When the alcohol's flowing, I'm not nice. I'm a not nicer person. I don't know why. I'm just more relaxed, I think. You know, also, that's another thing as well, which people don't understand. You know, when people have had two drinks and you're stone cold sober, you're on a different wavelength to them. God. So it's hard to get to that sort of. I don't find that funny, really. But maybe I would if I've had 4 drinks.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd have laughed as a child. But when I'm on that serious flex, sometimes you can tell by the way they're looking at you, he's not feeling this. And I'm terrible at hiding my expressions, I can't do the fake smile. I'm terrible. So when I'm pissed off, it's obvious. And so therefore, he's a prick, he is. He's so serious. And I can see why they can think that sometimes. And also, I'm not the smallest guy, so I probably think he's not bothered. But there was one time where I do feel bad. This woman was like, oh, you're such and such on my Facebook account. I was like, yeah, well, that's not my real name, but blah, blah, it's my name. And I said, no, that's not me. Just kind of joking, but I didn't want to speak to her. And that's the truth, because it was going to be small talk, and I hate small talk. Yeah. But I was hungry, I was tired, and I was on the table talking to somebody about something serious. So I kind of did it so that she didn't come and sit with us. And I feel bad because she never came back after that. And she also put a comment. This guy, I knew she was talking about me, but she didn't say my name. And it's put her off coming back, which is, you know what, I hold my hand up to that one. I did handle that one wrong, because I kind of fobbed her off, which I did. I did, because I didn't want to talk to her. That's the truth at the time. Even though she's a lovely lady.
Reflectiveness,
Yeah, but I think about it, I think, you dread. I can't remember her name, and if I saw her, I'd apologise to her, because I was a bit of a knob, and I just couldn't be bothered to speak to her. And I get like that, though. I wrote a poem called Small Talk, bro, the other day, and it is terrible. It is me. I don't like it. I'm not very good at it. I'm rubbish. I'm like, if I see someone in town, and I better not expose myself, because now people, is that what you've done to me?
Go on, what you do? What you do?
Oh no, I'm going to expose myself.
This is great.
I'm pretending to be on the phone sometimes.
No, you can't expose yourself though, because you might have been on the phone when they walked past you,
very true. Yeah.
It's
but I mean, I'm pretending to be on. Even when I've been listening to music, it's been headphones on.
I have done that so many times. It's part of. I mean, imagine.
Have you done that really?
Yeah,
I thought it was just me.
I do that all the time. I still do it actually. No, I'll be honest, I still do it. But the best ones were when you're at your mate's house or back in day, and you actually just wanted to get home. Fake phone calls. Just put your ringtone on.
Oh shit!
Mine used to be Kanye West as well. That was
Gold Digger.
Touch the Sky.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, it's Dad. Hello. Oh, you what?
And you become the greatest actor in the world, don't you? Or the worst.
Definitely the worst. I can't believe it.
You're joking.
Yeah,
oh no, again. Sorry, bro, I've got to go.
The worst though, and this has happened, I swear to God, is when it calls when you're doing that.
Oh God, yeah. My phone's normally on silent, so I've got away with it. It happened to one guy in the lift, and he was I felt embarrassed for him.
Yeah.
Oh, it
Because
went
you think,
off.
oh, that's just something you see on films, but no,
It
I have
happens.
genuinely had that happen. And I'm like,
Oh, man.
just holding it to my face, going, "What am I doing?
Yeah.
Leg it, just get out of here."
Oh, you cut off. Sorry, mate. I didn't- or you answer the phone to the person pretending you were already speaking to them, and they're cut off.
Mate, yeah,
That's the
yeah.
quick-
I thought you were still here.
Yeah. There's. Well, put it this way. I know girls that have done this on dates and guys where they've gone, message me in half an
Yeah,
hour.
you've got to have a,
or
like,
ring me-
code.
a code, yeah, to get me out of this if it's rubbish. And I've done it. I've not done it that way, but I've blatantly made up a bullshit excuse to get out of there. It's not happened often because I don't really go on that many dates, but it's happened where and honest, it was so obvious that
Have
I
you
was.
ever seen it done to you though? Have you ever had it?
Nah, man, I'm too good on dates.
Yeah,
No, I'm
yeah,
joking.
yeah. I can imagine.
No, but I'm being serious. It hasn't, and if it has, they've done it really well. Because I'm
Yeah.
not. Well, put it this way: it's been longer than an hour, so I can't have been that bad.
Yeah.
But no, one girl told me that she did. She had planned to do it with me if it didn't work.
But
Because
then you
but
was
then-
pretty cool.
yeah,
so.
but so cool. But so she told. Then
Yeah.
she was honest with me. She
Ah,
said
yeah,
I was
yeah.
going to have work call me and say I've got work because she does work on call, but she
Yeah.
locked it off for that. She goes, if it was, I was going to say I'm going to work. She told me, I was like, at least you're honest.
And then you felt amazing.
Yeah,
though. You're
well,
like,
I thought, yeah,
"Ah,
good,
I got
yeah."
through the
Yeah.
period, the trial period.
But you know what would have been fair play to you if she'd have done it because
Yeah.
I would. That's the sort of thing I do. The thing is, okay, you know what we're talking about? It's again the words coming up. This is empathy in a different way.
Yeah.
Because what we're doing is we're trying not to hurt their feelings.
Yes.
By going like when you want to leave your mate's house. And also, they may think, yeah, go, you can go. But
Yeah.
you might think, oh, they're enjoying me so much, I don't want to tell them I'm going now, or I've only been here for 10 minutes and I'm
Yeah.
bored. So you don't want to be rude or
I
make
think
them
we're
feel
getting
bad.
into another interesting part of conversation here because it's that be real attitude.
yeah.
I love it, and I love be your authentic self.
Yes. There's
But,
a fine
like,
line, though.
You know, there's nuance, isn't there?
fine line,
you
bro.
know, how does my bum look in this?
Yeah, exactly.
Curvy.
Yeah,
There's ways of expressing yourself that, you know, can make people feel good
Yeah.
without being a stone cold liar,
Yeah,
I suppose. And it's
exactly.
very tricky, though.
This is
I don't
another.
say to my mate, "Oh, don't like you anymore."
Yeah, this is another biased English word, but they call it a white lie because everything white is good if you notice.
Yeah,
And,
just
and
a
you know,
cheeky white
black
lie.
humour is bad. You know, blackmail.
That's interesting.
Everything white is good. Everything black is bad. If you look in the dictionary, these are the things that go into people's minds. These are the nuances, the microaggressions. So as white as the brilliant snow. You know, Snow White. What's it called? What's the other one? Oh yeah, white noise is. You don't hear it, do you? It's like
Yeah.
anything white is always positive. Anything black is always negative. And guess who wrote the dictionary? It wasn't a black man.
Yeah. Guess who wrote the curriculum?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So there's so many of these nuanced things. It's like, oh, it's dark humour, or it was a dark day. Why is black without?
But, I mean, in real anyway, like black to me, that it is darker
Yeah.
though. But like it's been depicted in films. It's
Yeah.
been that's a dark track.
Exactly. Yeah, that's dark and moody and gloomy
Yeah.
and also without
White and bright.
yeah
and,
without.
okay.
You can't have white without black though.
No.
It's
Alan
'cause
Watts
that-
term.
Exactly, it defines light. So really, black should be the. And also, what's the ball you knock in to win the game at pool?
Yeah.
What ball knocks it in?
Yeah. Togetherness, baby.
We can go deep here, bro.
But you were gonna say on that be real front though.
Yeah.
How people, you know, want to not offend one another but still be real.
Yeah.
In an element. Are you good with that? Can you sort of not lie, be yourself?
Bro, I've grown up in a Nigerian household where my
Yeah.
mum would go, Emeka, you're looking fat. Like,
Yeah.
raw. Yeah,
It's good.
but
Do you know
I'm
what?
not used to it.
I feel, yeah, I've had that experience with you.
Yeah.
You've said something like about my communication back and forth,
Yeah.
and I loved it because I must offend so many people. I know I have done before, where I'm looking at this list of people message, and I'm just like, I can't actually get through that. I don't,
yeah.
and that isn't an
You're
egotistic
popular.
thing. No, that sounds egotistic now.
It doesn't.
but
No, it's not to me, it
It
doesn't.
builds up
It's
over time,
factual.
doesn't it? It's
Yeah.
just as it is, because when you're building stuff, you got a business on, people want to know workshop wise what's going on.
Yeah, of course, man.
And there's also the robots on there.
Yeah,
Like you've got
always.
Instagram idiots.
Yeah,
Like
always, bro.
So you a lot of your friends and close ones end up falling in between them lines.
Bro, you prioritise.
And you just go, but to actually have you come forward and just go, oh, dude, I felt like you ghosted, or I felt this. I was like, do you know what, mate? On a real, that's made me much more reflective about how I treat people.
Was that
I
the
care
one where
about.
I posted about the story one? Was
Yeah,
that
I think
one?
we've not seen it. Or
Because
I told you about my post and ghost.
Yeah, post and ghost. Yeah, which I wasn't aware of. But I wasn't cussing, by the way. I was just saying that. Yeah, but the thing is, at the same time, this is going back to what I was saying before. How would you know I thought that if I didn't tell you?
Hey, that's what we're talking about.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, so it's a catch-22. It's like, okay, don't say anything and then get annoyed by it, or, I can't be bothered because he doesn't get back to me.
Yeah.
And then you're thinking, what's happened to Emeka? I've never heard from him for ages.
Exactly what I'm
So that's that breakdown in communication where if I turn around to you and tell you, it's then up to you to how you take it. But it's also up to me how I tell you it as well.
That's it. I was going to say there's two things. Like, down the line, it's so annoying when you see somebody at a party and 5 years later and they go, oh, you actually annoyed me here. You think,
why
we
didn't
could have
you tell me?
squashed that straight away.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, I see it in a lot of my friends before, and when they get drunk as well, particularly, but they go, oh, I just say it as it is. I say it as it is. I'm like, yeah, but you've made that person cry.
Yeah, exactly.
You made that person really upset who didn't need that punch in that way. Do you have to say it as it is?
Yeah.
Or is there another way of telling a truth
that
can make people feel good?
You can say it as it is, but not the way you said it. Because it's as it is, well, I'm saying it as it is, oh, you're a dickhead, prick, knobhead, blah, blah, blah. Or you can say, mate, I don't appreciate that. You know, it's really pissing me off. Please don't do it again because we will fall out.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's got the same. I think that's got more impact because it's like, he's serious. He can see he's hurt, but it's giving me that opportunity to know that's annoyed me. But whereas you just dismiss somebody fully out, there's no real coming back from it. And it depends what kind of relationship you got with that person, obviously. But if you like your mate said, I'll just say it how it is. Well, there's loads of ways to say it how it is. Do you know what I mean?
The two on this podcast today, we've said the two worst sayings that I ever hate. That's the way it's always been.
Yeah,
and that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Like,
they're the rules.
I say it as it is as well as I hate them ways about being because life is a complete situational. There's so many, like I say the word nuances, grey area to life, but people want to just put blanket statements and rhetoric and jargon over ways of being. And I'm like, well, yeah, but you can also be flexible and you can be moving and fluid with so many ways about your own personality. You don't have to just go to this rigid nature of, I say it as it is, and that's the person you become. It's all ego based.
Yeah,
it's all
massively.
you just built up a character.
If you don't like it, fuck off back to where you came from. It's that same stupid. You know what I mean? What do you mean if I don't like it? Well, if I don't like it, well, how's that making it better then?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, like I said, I give the example of, you told me you love your missus, but you're always slagging her off. Yeah. So why don't you get rid of her then? You know what I mean? That's the same logic as you're saying, because I'm moaning about the country that I live in. You're telling me to leave it. Well, how's about let's improve it? How's about let's make it better then for all of us? Do you know what I mean? Well, why not? If you love something, you want to improve it, right? If you hate something, you leave it. Do you know what I mean? I never said the words hate. I hate the way this happens. But because you maybe that person is doing those things, instead of you to go, shit, yeah, actually, I do that. It's like, I'm going to be defensive and say, you get out, you're the problem, not me. Do
you end up becoming a bit of a lone wolf from all this, though? Because
you do.
For me,
100%.
A lot of people want to just hear the answers they want
100%.
to hear. So 100%. They end up in loads of sheep groups.
They're all together. And you're in the middle.
Because they're around people that speak their lingo and then probably bitch about them around their backs because they just want to make connection, but not real connection where you go, I get you. You're on that level. I'm on that level. You do you, I'll do me. I whacked it.
Oh, right. Bop, bop.
But I think that's what happened in my life a lot. I've got good people in my life, but it's harder to find then, isn't it?
Yeah,
because you've got to
far between.
and you've got to listen to them, and you've got to hear them say things that you might not want to hear, and you've got to put up your big boy pants,
Yeah.
let go of your ego,
Yeah, yeah.
and go, they're healthier for me than
People
what
just playing to your
the
ego.
ones were before. I've got so many friends that come to mind when I was saying this, where I thought, I wanted you to just sort of fulfill that, like, acceptance of, say I've got a problem, like an addiction or something.
Yeah.
I wanted them to just say, yeah, you'll be fine, man, you're cool.
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
my proper friends go, dude,
You need to sort that shit out.
sort it out,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
You're ill.
Yeah.
You need, and I've gone, oh, no,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Well, at least you had that in you to say you're right, because that reaction often is the defensive.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. I know what I'm doing. Don't tell me that. But you always say your true friends tell you the truth.
Yeah.
But then you say, again, going back to the other one, it's how you say it. I'm telling him like it is, but I'm not telling him like it is.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's
yeah.
like, so I'm telling you for your benefit, not for my benefit.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
that's a good way of
There's a difference. Because some people would say things like, for instance, I'll give you a perfect example. When somebody's giving up fags and you go, oh, do you want a cigarette, mate? And why are you giving them a cigarette? Because, oh yeah, but you smoke, don't you, when you've had a drink? No, you just want to smoke because you're smoking.
Yes.
And you can't give it up. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So you've gone the opposite way of, I'm being a good mate by offering you one. No, you're not. You're actually playing into his addiction that he's trying to get rid of, and you're not thinking about the person. So I think those kind of friends are the ones that fall into that sheep box and the robot box, because they don't really want to offend anybody. But then when it comes down to the real friendship, things like that is, to me, shows you true friendship. When you're offering somebody something, or giving up Coke, and you go,
Yeah.
want a cheeky line?
Yeah.
And I know loads of people that do that. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Loads of people that do that. I've got a friend who's trying to give it up, and he's got a friend who's always the devil, basically, on that shoulder. And I'm the other guy going,
Yeah,
bro.
I was trying to stop, like, a lot of substances and drinking before, and people knew that about me and was like, oh yeah, do you want to meet at the pub? I'm like, well, you know I don't. Like,
Yeah.
it's not
The
an
worst place.
environment. I don't want to be in that environment at all. And
Yeah.
my mate used to love going to the pub and so on, but he's like, well, I'm going to either get on it with you. Do you want to meet at the gym or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah,
but
that's
I mean, that was for the both of us,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
still.
But it doesn't matter.
It was a nice
Beneficial.
experience where he recollected, he thought about what I'd said and gone, oh dude, if you're on that mission, I want to be better
Yeah.
in myself too. Let's do it together.
No, that's
I
wicked.
thought,
though.
oh, that's cool.
That's a true friend, and
Yeah.
and also you feel the support from that person, which encourages you to continue on your journey, because you think, well, he didn't have to do that, and he's doing it for me. But friends is a very intricate thing, because I have different types of friends. I've got different types of friends that I talk to. I've got male, I've got female friends. Certain male friends, I wouldn't say come to a real talk, our spoken word night, because they ain't got that mindset to
Yeah.
listen to spoken word or to listen to alternative, because they just, I know what they want. They want to mash up on the weekend, get lean, and come in at 4 or 5 in the morning and get a pizza from Derby Grill at the end of the night with
Yeah.
half of it over the clothes, man. You know what I mean? That's a great night for them.
Yeah.
Whereas they wouldn't come to some of that, so I wouldn't tell them about those things. But then there's certain other people that would go, bro, you know what? Come down to this thing, you'll love it. And they do, and they absolutely love it. But the thing is knowing your friends
Yeah.
and knowing boundaries, if that makes sense. You know, knowing boundaries as in, is it, so let me give you an example. If I brought somebody to something knowing full well they don't like that, I'm doing it for my own selfish reasons,
Yeah.
because I want more people there. But there's no point telling him, because you don't want to go, and I'd rather people who want to go and enjoy it than somebody stood there like, you know, when's this finishing? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
yeah, well, we filled the place because I've got loads of people who don't really want to be there. And I think, like, in society, I can't talk for other people. I can talk for me. Is that one of the things I've learned from friends is that when you have somebody who asks you how you are when nothing's gone wrong, then you know that they really care about you. You know
That's
what I'm trying
beautiful.
to say?
Yeah, yeah.
When as things just a message out of the blue, not a generic Christmas or birthday, an actual, how you doing, bro? You good? How's life? Wow, what's up with you? What? You know what I mean? You're right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that shouldn't be so
It shouldn't
alien,
be,
should it?
but it is.
Yeah.
Or like I was making a joke earlier about going to somebody's house without ringing them. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
going around their house, because people are like, what are you doing here? That's the reaction we have now. But when I was younger, that was, before this moment, that was standard. You just not call for them, we call it. I'm going to call for him, knock on the door. What are you saying? You're coming out or whatever. I know that's when we're younger. But as we get older, why is it we have to message 80 times to arrange to come and see somebody? Because we're not busier. We're not any busier. we've just got more distractions now.
Yeah.
That's what it is. We're
not prioritising.
not prioritising the things that, or our priorities have switched around now. So things like, oh, I've got to do this shoot for Instagram, or I've got to, I'm going to get 200 likes if I do this, or I've got to get this amount of followers, or, do you know what I'm trying to say? I understand it's a journey, but at the same time, how important are those things compared to real friendships? And like I told you, coming off social
and just
media.
be careful what you wish for, because you might just get it, sort of thing.
Yeah,
you
and it
get
happens
to the
a
end
lot.
of it, you've got all them followers, and you go, "Where are my mates?"
Yeah, exactly.
I've definitely been there, man.
Or you don't even see the messages because you've got so many to go through.
Yeah.
And this is why I always think about fame as well. Obviously, I've done my poetry and I've got my true colours, and I want it to go bigger and bigger and bigger. But at the same time, I was saying to one of my mates, like, I don't want it to go that big that I don't know when those people that I was trying to get in touch with them even know I exist.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? I would love to hire people to be able to go through one by one every message. I told you when I met JME, he said, I don't follow anybody on Twitter, but I read every message. And I sent him some, and he got back to me. And that was unbelievable to me. And he's got over 1 million, you know what I mean? So to me, you got to respect that.
That's a good way of being.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's even better, because he hasn't got bare followers, he's got none. He goes, I read every message. He didn't say I reply to. He says, I read every message. So when I sent him the I Said, She Said poem, he replied. In the morning when I woke up, he replied. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
And I thought, how many celebrities as big as him would he even bother? Because I met him in Selfridges, ironically, doing the hosting with his mum, and he was so polite and lovely. But like, you think, he's just doing it there and then. And then when you wake up to it, that's the last thing you expected.
Really,
So
powerful.
Yeah, it's powerful, but we can, like, you using your platform for good things, man. I couldn't believe when I see Mr. Warnock on it. I was like, fucking hell, man. I did double take. Is that his brother? Is that sounds like him, looks like him, and stuff like that's amazing. You know, I've seen you grow and grow and grow, but you're not just doing it for self-gratification. Well, it's obviously for self-gratification.
There's elements in there, yeah.
There is elements, but I mean, it's not your end goal. Is to be, I want to be the best ever at this. You are doing it to give people a voice, like myself, because I've listened to a lot of your podcasts. People that probably wouldn't get heard by the people that are listening to them.
Yeah,
you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I'm with you, definitely.
So it's like it's a new audience. It's a different way of saying it.
I think it's just been a journey, mate. Same as most people when they get into something where people have an audience, they have a platform, they start getting this, especially when you've been bullied as a kid or something, or not felt validated. You seek it, you search it, you get it, and it feels this esoteric, beautiful, godlike feeling. We said that word.
Like, we did. Yeah, you put it in. You might have to do a old one to the new one. Look, this is how it goes in naturally now.
It's this very sort of powerful, oh my God, I've had this experience, not many people get this experience moment.
Yeah.
So in that, and especially I was putting stuff out when Facebook was Facebook, meaning it was good and the views meant something.
Yeah.
So for me, I did get a little lost in it. I did get a little bit excited by it, but also following that pursuit, I ended up becoming the most depressed I'd ever felt as well.
Really?
Because it was for the purpose of being seen.
Right,
and I stopped enjoying the process.
Yeah.
But a second I was self-aware and reflected to why I didn't feel good, I knew how to tune out of it. And I went, right, Mikey, get back to creating, get back to making, because that's what you love.
Yeah.
And then just put it out there. But that's where it stops for me now. I'm really happy. I don't necessarily, this is a good chat, but I don't really perform much anymore as well.
Yeah, I've noticed that actually.
I feel I've done what I needed to say on a stage, and I think we can talk poetry soon as well. But I think there's poems for you create for yourself, which is like a therapeutic, healing, cathartic tool.
100.
There's poems that you put on Spotify or on YouTube or wherever, where people can choose to go and see. And then there's poems that you get on a stage, which is perform, entertainment, and that sort of side. And for me, I just felt I wasn't in the mindset anymore of I need to be seen in that regard. I want to put stuff out there that people can choose to go and listen. What's Mikey up to, or what's Rhythmical Mike's poetry been for a while? But I think I've gone to that level now where I'm just so comfortable in creating. The creative side of things is enough for me now.
Yeah, you've got it out of your system.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean? I'm getting to that stage as well, bro. And also another thing is I do write a lot still, but it's hard learning shit as well. Poetry is hard to keep learning it, reading it. It's draining, bro. And I prefer to recite as opposed to read. But then I'm finding when I'm reading it, I'm taking away from the eye contact and all those things. So I just love to record stuff and put it out there as opposed to don't get me wrong, I love performing. I do like the art of it. But
there is a massive art within it.
There is a massive art with it. And also it's very, it boosts your self-esteem massively. And it also boosts your self-confidence and your self-awareness as well. Because everyone's all eyes on you. So you kind of got to be aware of how you move, how you speak, how you talk, how you interact.
Yeah.
And they're really good skills, but at the same time, there's only so much. I think about people like, I know it's just come to mind, Dire Straits or Status Quo or Eric Clapton that toured and did all these, the same songs over and over. And you hear, when you listen to the documentary, like, I'm sick of doing this song, I'm bored of, and you can see why, but they're getting paid stupid money for it. We're not getting paid stupid money for it, So I can imagine that.
I must say, I've done a few recent school jobs now. I went to London, I've been to a few places, and it still feels pretty good there.
Yeah.
But the reason being is I feel that the purpose is bigger than me there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It feels I've got a genuine want for these kids to either engage or for the teachers to go.
I think that's different to performing, though.
It is, isn't it?
That's more of a fulfillment.
And I also tell a story. So there's a 20-minute story about my life and my journey and why poetry.
Yeah.
And I think that story is very
valid.
Yeah. Very good word. Yeah. And the thing for a lot of poetry nights, it was just performing to a lot of poets.
Yeah.
And have you been in conversations before where people have just nodded and then you go, what do you think to that? And they're like, oh, what? Yeah. that there's some moments of that, but there could have been a balance of I'm not giving out the energy that I wanted to give out, and I wasn't putting on a show. And also, they just were thinking about their words, their lyrics, what they were going to perform.
Yeah, exactly.
I've felt situations, and
Me too.
Yeah.
And also, you feel like the words have been wasted, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I put in, and you didn't really get what I was on about, did you? Really? That's what you're relating to, and I don't know exactly what you mean. But like when I do the workshops at the colleges, schools, prisons, they are completely drawn in because because it's something new, something that they're not used to hearing. I know exactly what you mean. And also what happens as well with a lot of these nights is you get the regulars that come, and then if you're doing the same poems, I've heard this one before, so they switch off and they're talking or on the phone or whatever, it kind of gets lost. There's a lot of that in it, but at the same time, when I do write the poems myself, I feel when I think it's wicked, I feel great after writing it. But then when I perform it, and it doesn't get the feeling that I got when I wrote it. It's kind of a dull feeling. I don't know how to explain it, bro. But
and then it can taint it. You don't want to look back at it.
Exactly, mate. I don't look at any of my performances. I don't anyway. I don't like it, especially when I've messed up somewhere or something. But no one else knows. I know. I don't watch any of my performances. People, I've never asked for any videos. I like the videos that me and you have done because that's like an art work. But I don't like the live things of me. I never watch them. It makes me cringe, actually. I don't know how to explain it to you, but it's like, that's there, it's done, that's in the moment, leave it where it is, and that's it. I haven't got any videos of me, of any of them. I used to tell people to record me, and then I thought, no, I don't want you to record me, actually. Not for me, anyway.
Let's talk a little on poetry, though. How on earth is the book going?
Bro, the book's doing, bro, well, let me tell you something. If it wasn't for lockdown, this would not have been born, because that's when I said, yo, I'm getting involved. Outspoken. I'm getting outspoken. I've got to hold it up.
To this one here, look. Get it in there. Outspoken,
available
guys.
on Amazon, and it's about the same price as a decent bottle of wine. And I mean a decent one, not a rubbish one and not a really good one, a decent one. Less than a tenner is what I'm trying to say to you. And if you like me, and you're on the back of this, you're on the blurb as well, aren't you? You forgot about that.
Yes.
And if you like me and don't like reading loads, it's 35 pages. Come on now. So
Get it. It's brilliant.
Get involved, man.
I've got it.
Thank you. And can I read one to you?
Do you know what, mate? I can't believe we didn't start with it. We just went in, didn't we?
But you can edit it and make it look like...
Yeah. True. No, this is...
don't. Live.
I clip them out, though. I do mini clips of all the podcasts. So I'm definitely going to clip this out and put it as one of the mini clips.
Yeah, man, bless. I'm going to read one which is based on a true story. And it's an amalgamation of a couple of girls that I used to see, but one in particular. And these were the things I found out during and after going out with her. So it's called Set C, and hopefully by the end of it you'll see why. So I'm just going to read this one to you, and it is, like I say, it's very, very biographical. She only saw me for me. Her mates would make a mockery, saying, how could you date one of me, one of them? This came from her apparent friends. She naively thought they thought like her. Thoughts of their prejudice had not occurred until they realised her boyfriend was black. To her, it was not a fact of any matter. As a matter of fact, they did not concur. Keeping it white is what they prefer. They referred to her as black meat, then see me, meet me and greet me. Having no inkling, I know of their deceitful ways, of which I hate. But I've got to play the game. She held so much back to protect my back. Stuff like, I didn't think your boyfriend would be black. Why did you go and do that? Now you're going to be known as Baby Spice because you're damaged goods. You're going to get hurt and damaged good. He's going to break you in two. He's going to cheat on you. All black men do. You know they're partial to domestic violence too. STDs, so many of them do. You better go for a checkup, you. He does look a bit of a thug. I bet he sells drugs. Did I tell you they're partial to get violent? And all this time she's silent, keeping quiet while emotions run riot. Drained and tired, she cries in private. People making her love feel like it's a sin, or actually the people committing the sin. All because of the colour of my skin. She said she wanted to tell me, but she didn't know where to begin. And all these years later, she opens up like an open book. She relates to me in detail all the barbaric racist regale, merely because she dated a black male. She was emotionally blackmailed to leave me, set sea and sail. That's it.
Wow.
She moved.
Dude, you are
Set
getting
C.
all the clicks.
Thank
I've
you, bro.
literally just done the goosebump test.
Really?
That got me.
Oh, man.
that
That's
was
what I'm saying, bro.
really, really powerful, mate.
Thanks, man.
Wow.
But it comes from a true place, bro, and it comes from
How
experiences.
old would you be at this point?
What year are we now? 2021? That would have been about 9 years ago. It's not that long ago.
That really, I was thinking, honestly, you were going to say like 20 years ago.
Nah, man, it's not that long ago. About 7-8 years ago. That's it.
Oh my God, that's really scary that you just said that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because I'd still be in my 20s at that point, nearly.
Yeah.
Oh,
And the thing
man.
is, these people would be cool in the gang with me, you know, being sound and safe with me, and then you're hearing all these things behind your back, and then, oh, he's coming now, oh, he's coming. And then I'd style it because this is, like I said, play the game. You have to play the game when you are in the minority of numbers. And then also, when you bring it up, you're playing the race card. I'm like, did you say that because I'm black? Oh, stop playing the race card. Oh, no, bro, I'm asking you because it felt like what you said was because I was black. That's the only reason why I'm saying it. I'm not saying it because I'm trying to win any battles. Just saying it for that reason, and they dismiss it. So what you do is you retire, and then you sort of, as we were talking before, blend in, conform a little bit, don't really say anything. And these were her mates, don't forget, not mine. So when it's their mates, you try to give them a little bit more leeway and try and be a bit more, you know, what's the word? Accommodating.
Yes.
But when you find that out, it's like, and she was obviously gutted, but she didn't want to tell me because, you know, I go mental for some of the things, and that's why she told me a lot afterwards as well.
I was going to say,
You know what I mean?
what was the moment she told you?
Yeah, because, well, put it this way, I think we were just having a normal convo,
Right.
and then it came up like, oh yeah, well, he thought that. You know he thought that. I'm like, did he?
Huh.
You know what I mean? And she sort of let it slip without even, because it was, like I say, years past, so she thought that it was obvious to me. And I said, well, I thought those things, but now you've kind of given me the closure. Because again, what is a black man in England without being paranoid? Because if you say, are you being racist, somebody will say, oh, stop being oversensitive, or no, he's not racist. You know, he didn't mean it like that. Anything but, yes, he's racist, or yeah, he was, or she was racist. Yeah, it's anything but that. So you start doubting yourself, thinking, am I being oversensitive here? Am I imagining this? Is this really happening? And she confirmed that it was. And that was my inkling. And also, bro, you know, when you've lived it all your life, you know it. You know it anyway. And like, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and he said, that still doesn't happen, does it? Because I said to him, I said, it's not the being called the N-word, it's standing at the cash point behind somebody, and then they go to the next cash point because they think you're going to rob them, or they move the bank. And I'm not like, and he goes, surely that doesn't happen. And then this is what he said to me, and I quote, he goes, yeah, but it must happen to white guys in Nike Air Max and tracksuits. I said, it may do, but it happens to me wearing a suit as well. It happens to me driving an Audi Q5. It happens to me when I'm wearing the nicest clothes in the world. It happens to me when I'm not even talking, when I'm not even looking menacing, when I'm sat down, and you know. So that's the difference. See, so I'm not saying it doesn't happen to white people, but the regularity that it happens to me, it's more than a coincidence. Or I'm a liar, or I'm going crazy. To him, I'm just talking rubbish because he's never seen it. Well, you're not going to see it because you're not me. You're not walked in my shoes.
Yeah.
So how are you going to know? But I'm telling you. So why would I lie?
What was the moment you stopped being so accommodating? Because I'm sure I've noticed in time that you are on a bit more of a mission of, no, I'm not letting this slide anymore.
Bro, it must be about now 15 years ago. I just thought, you know what, I'm not having it anymore. You know, it started from when I played football, as I told you in the last podcast, and I started to become a bit more vociferous, and then you get shut down. But then as I got the older player in the teams, nah, I'm not having that, bro. Nah. And then they would, and obviously because I was one of the senior players, they'd have to. You know, I'd bring the music in. I'm to playing what music I'm playing. Whereas before they were like, we're not having that shit, get that shit off. And now I'm like, no, I'm playing it. And they would, and then they'd like it and get into it. So it was a gradual process of, it comes with age, it comes with experience, and it comes with just being fed up of pandering to other people's fragility. Why should I pander to your white fragility? Because you don't want to hear the truth from me. Because I'm calling you out for something. Again, going back to what we're talking about, it's that deflecting of it. Instead of going, yeah, shit, I didn't realise I did that, mate. I'm sorry. I'll try not to do it again. What you get is, oh, mate, stop being so oversensitive. It's, the onus comes back on me again. And it's me who's got the problem, where they never step outside their own little realm and see, actually, shit, yeah, I did do that, didn't I? Fuck. Like I'm saying about, did I speak to that person in a certain way? When I wonder, do they ever think when they leave, well, am I racist? Am I? Maybe I am. Because people always say, he's not racist, I'm not racist. I've never heard anyone say, yeah, actually, I'm racist. I've heard people say, I used to be racist. I've never heard anyone admit, yeah, I am actually racist, actually. I never really thought about it, but yeah, I am. And it's something I need to change.
I think if there's impact on people's lives or it affects them, then they'll be reflective.
Yeah.
But if they don't have to reflect because there's no initial impact or problem in their life from that situation, that's why people aren't very reflective.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, even in that little situation there, what you were saying too about that guy leaving, there was a bit of impact there because, was it you lost a customer there or whatever? For me, same here. I'm very reflective when that girl who'd, you know, we're paying her, but also somebody else would give a bit of her time to come be here.
Yeah.
If I've made her feel uncomfortable, people won't want to be on this premise anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's some impact there in our lives. Yes. So we become reflective, going, well, I don't want to be that dick, and then people will leave. But for a lot of people, if it doesn't really matter anyway, does it? And then they'll just go on and live their life in that very mundane, happy lifestyle. So,
well, that's the difference, I think, between people who are reflective and people who just brush things under the carpet. I'm a thinker, so I always think to myself afterwards. The same when I used to play football. Why didn't I go around the keeper? Why didn't I chip him? Why didn't I dink him? Why didn't I smash it? Why didn't I bend it? How did he miss that sitter? And I'm going through it over and over in my head, and it's like that with life. I always think, maybe I could have done that better. But I just wish more people would have that attitude when it comes to racism. Because it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means that's the way you've been brought up, maybe. Yeah. And maybe you didn't even realise until somebody told you. And there's nothing wrong with admitting it. But what is probably more infuriating for people who suffer it is the denial of it. And he's not. They always come to the defence of the person who makes the comment, but they never come to the defence of the person who's received the comment. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I do, completely.
So you're almost fighting a double battle. You're fighting the racism itself, and then you're fighting the people denying that it even existed, or that person could take ownership for saying those things or doing those things, or, oh yeah, I did speak to you that way because you are black. I did ask you that question because you're black. Yeah, I did. Sorry.
The one thing I was thinking of is in America with the new movements, they were looking at introducing in the syllabus for like 4 to 5 to 6 year olds, teaching them that they're inherently racist.
Yeah.
But there was a good conversation. It was on a Rogan that I listened to this on, and my ears really pricked up. And it, you know, he was saying, well, is it wise making them feel victim, but making them feel
making them aware of it. Do you mean like
not aware of it that they will inherently be racist, but they will also becoming. I can't remember what there's a word he used, and it was really beautiful. It wasn't victim; it was something other. But they're starting off on a point of like, oh, I'm a bad person, basically. Do you know what I mean? Oh, we're bad. What was the word for that?
So you can play on it. I know what you're saying. It's basically to say that they are. It'll come to me in a bit.
There's a word in there.
I don't want to overthink it now.
I'll put it in. I'll pop it up. There's a word there, but they're already starting off from this point of I'm bad.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of time when I was talking out and trying to say stuff because I was very confused. I was from my white friends who wanted to sound virtuous.
Yeah.
I am a racist. I'm like, well, funny enough, like my granddad's from Persia.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be here of existence without immigration.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly,
I mean, I'm quite. Maybe there's elements in there, but it's very tricky when you're trying to gaslight some people when you're sounding virtuous that you're a bad person already from the off. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It was convoluted. There was times where I thought, now we've tipped a scale when you're just. I'm listening to particularly white people though. It was mainly white people getting on a high horse, telling people they're white, male privilege, that. And I thought, well, I'm not just offended or butthurt from it, but I don't feel it's particularly helpful now. I think you've gone to a really unnecessary side of it, and maybe it's because you feel a certain way, and you're covering up. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, and the thing is as well from. My stance, from a black person's stance, what a lot of white people forget is that is our norm. So, like, when you're saying that it's white people calling people out for their privilege and all these things, that's because it's been highlighted to them now. Whereas we've sort of just got, especially if you're born in my era, you just kind of just got on with it. And this is why it took so long for people like myself to speak out, because you get to the stage where you think, actually, now I may as well, I'm going to say something now because this silence isn't doing anything, but then you're still caught up with the battle of the people that don't want to hear it, even though they've heard something that is outrageously racist, they will still defend the person somehow because that person, in their eyes, isn't a racist. And this is the thing we need to stop as well. We need to stop this labelling of oh, you are racist or non-racist. But I was saying to somebody yesterday, you might not be racist, but you're not anti-racist. I said, and he's like, what do you mean by that? I said, well, you wouldn't question me about my status if you were anti-racist. Because I'm talking about something which you said is a shit comment. But why is it a shit comment when I'm talking about something that I've experienced and seen? It's only shit to you maybe because you are like that, you have friends like that, or it makes you feel uncomfortable. But if you are anti-racist, you might not necessarily agree with what I'm saying, but you go, yeah, he's going to have his say on that. And I always go back to putting it into a different perspective. If a girl talks about being sexually abused, who am I to turn around to her and say, come on, man, that was it. Those things don't happen anymore.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's the same. That's the same. So that's what he's doing to me. He's going, well, that don't happen anymore. Come on, man, it's not that bad. It's playing it down when it, you know, it's not your place to say anything. Just shut up and listen. You don't have to like it. It might make you feel uncomfortable, but if it's making you feel uncomfortable, then it means it's making an impact, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because it means it's making you think outside of your usual thought pattern, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable, even if you don't agree with it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you not to win points. I'm telling you because that's the way it is for me, and that's the way it is for a lot of people. Sorry you don't like it. I really feel bad for you that you don't like it, that it annoys you. But at the end of the day, how do you think it feels to be having it every day? Yeah. You know, and to stay sane. Yeah. And to not go and want to smash somebody's face in every day. And especially when they say stuff like that. You know, I get sweated up, bro, on social media when people say shit. Because I think, I wish you were right here now like me and you, so we can speak face to face, because I don't want to do this typing back and forth, because all you're doing is whatever I say to you, replying to it. But if I spoke to you face to face, you wouldn't have these comebacks, because you see my eyes, you see my expression, you see where I'm coming from a lot differently to written words.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm telling you this, you can see I'm passionate about it. You can see it rise me up. You know, I was telling him about a guy. Have you heard of Clifton Mitchell?
Yeah, the boxer.
Yeah, and I was in the barbers with him just 2 weeks ago, and he was talking about how, like the Cash Point incident, where he's standing there and a woman, or he goes to do business and he has to send another guy in because he's too intimidating, or because he boxed and he's black, he's going to be violent, or he's going to be a thug, or do you know what I mean? And he's like, so he goes, there's these microaggressions, these subtle things which people don't realise happen every day, bro. Every day. And it's not like you're getting called a black bastard or you this or that. Those days are gone. But it's like you're a thug. Yeah. You're a gangster. You know, the words have changed, the nuances are, but they're the same thing. You know what I mean? Or when I did
context remains
the same, bro. I remember when I was doing a workshop. I mean, used to be a TV extra. I think they call it. I forgot what they call it now. And we had to wear a suit and ties for this scene. And I undid my top button and did like a button down. And the lady who was doing the gopher, whatever she was, she went, "You're not on the streets now. Button it up." Only said that to me when 5 other people who were white had their button undone, but she said it to me. So again, if I turn around and say, "You said that because I'm black," I know what she would say to me. Stop playing the race card.
Yeah.
But why didn't you say it to everyone else then?
It's just a protection, isn't it?
Of course it is.
It's a nice...
It's a cliche and it's annoying as hell, bro. It's like, it's so boring, it's so lazy. It's laziness. I'm not going to think why he said that. I'm just going to go, "Oh, I know this saying, I'm going to say that." Do you know what I mean? Like,
so dangerous.
So I'm going to just break this down real quick. People who use the race card, I'm going to look you in the face now. People who use the term race card, think about this, right? When you're being racist, what are you doing? Okay, the race card means, if I'm saying, you saying it's because I'm black, you're saying I'm playing some sort of card. So what are you doing when you're saying this person missed a penalty because he's black? Are you not playing the race card then? You know what I mean? Like, it's the same principle. So I'm saying you're blaming him for his blackness for missing the penalty.
There's a race card.
Is that not a race card more than anything else in the world? Do you know what I mean? But a white guy misses, he's not a white bastard. He's just a twat.
Yeah.
His skin colour doesn't come into it at all. But a black player misses
That's
it.
the point.
His skin colour comes into it. So isn't that the biggest playing of the race card there ever is? See what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I just think rhetoric in general, for good, for bad, for whatever, it doesn't work. It needs to be stamped out. Even for me, the silence is violence. Yeah. I get it. I get the premise. I get the idea. But then there was times where I felt I needed to be a bit quiet because I needed to think more. And sometimes just splurting out a load of nonsense.
I've been that guy though.
Yeah.
I've been silent when somebody said something the other day. It took me so aback. I didn't say anything. I was a bit new in the group, and and I'm angry with myself because he goes, I'm going to the pea shop. I said, I kept quiet, bro. Yeah. I did keep quiet, but I was silent all the way through. Yeah. They could tell through my silence that I was pissed off. He could tell. Yeah. But I didn't say anything. And I thought, if I say something now, this is what went through my head. Where is this going to lead? Yeah. And the type of people I was with, I knew they weren't going to, they were just going to dismiss it. And so, sometimes...
Be reflective in that situation. You know what that situation needed. And everything's situational every time.
It really is. And as you said, how you feel.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. There's never a time where you can just paint a brush or just use this jargon to fulfill a whole situation. It's just it's never appropriate, and you need to really investigate how a person operates, why they're operating. Is there anything going on in their life at the minute that they've got to focus on their family? Like a member could be dying or whatever. Exactly. They can't share a black square or something on that day or whatever it was. Why haven't you done this? Why haven't you done that? Yeah. Just stop getting so angry at people and do the best you can do
your thing
in your little tribes and you make it work for you. But to just hate upon people and just get angry towards things,
it doesn't help.
It doesn't push towards the cause of what it. And we're all on the page. It's about compassion. It's about acceptance. It's about love.
It is.
And it can be very basic.
But on the flip side of that, one thing I will say is that from a black person's point of view, it's very hard to not be angry sometimes, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because of not because of one incident. What they don't realise, this is years and years and years of frustration. And also, a lot of people keep quiet. I know a lot of black people want me to shut the fuck up. Excuse my language. I hate the fact I've just swore there. Yeah, no, but I don't like it because my mum hears it. Yeah. But like, I know there's a lot of black people who would rather me keep quiet, rather people like me keep, stop, you're ruffling feathers. I can't make anything worse than it already is. What I mean by that is talking about racial issues is what I mean. And then there's other people who get angry at other people. There's other people who use the N-word. I don't like it. But I can't tell that black person to not stop using that word. Tell him don't call me it, but I can't tell him to not use it in his own life because it's his own choice. And it's the same with anyone else's. But at the same time, it's very hard to tell black people don't be angry. Do you know what I mean?
I think what I was alluding to and saying, particularly in my head, I was thinking of white people that
I know you were, but that's
also,
what I thought the black side.
Another side of it is, it sounds very fluffy. Just love, man. We just need to be happy. We need to be this. There's definitely not that. We need to put your energy in the right places towards the right situations at the right times in the right moments. All them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like.
You said it about the COVID thing as well. I remember you saying something about that.
I just think it's a constant, isn't
Each
it?
to their own,
it's a constant. There's people out there that have had received a good response from getting angry once. Everyone sort of liked to comment, went mental at it, and they thought, "Oh, that was good.
Yeah, I'm going to do it again.
Let's do it all the time."
Yeah. Well, Tommy Robinson is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Perfect example. He just plays to these people. But like, I think you said it on the COVID thing is a while ago, and you like let people just choose for themselves. Like, but unfortunately, we are bombarded with. That's one of the reasons as well. Come off social media because I don't listen to adverts, bro. If the adverts come on TV of any advert, I turn it off. If I hear anything about COVID, I turn it off. If I hear anything about because I was pulling in the car park the other day, and the radio was on, and whenever the news comes, I change it, and it says a teacher's just been shot. And I said to myself, why are you telling us this? Why do we need to know that a teacher has just been shot in a school? What is that news doing? No, I'm being serious though. Apart from the family of that person, why does everybody else need to know that teacher was shot in that school? Why?
I completely agree.
I don't get it. What is the point of it? The only point of that news is to put fear into people, to make people think, oh yeah, that's not safe there.
Yeah.
Why aren't you
Life
telling us
isn't
about the
safe.
person who got saved from such and such? Because you know there's as many good things. I always say this, what I see walking on the street, I don't see on the news. I don't see it. It's two different worlds to me. Even when they said it was this massive pandemic or whatever, I didn't see people ill all over. To me, what a pandemic is when bare people are ill, dying on the floor and flipping. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean properly ill, and I didn't see that. I didn't know hardly anyone who was ill. I'm not saying people weren't ill. I'm not saying it didn't exist. I know it existed, but what I'm saying is the news tried to make out it's this evil killing machine that's coming to murder everybody. If you go out of the house, you're going to die. And it's bullshit, because I worked all the way through it, didn't do any of the things they told us to do. I was fine, but I'm not, and before people go, yeah, but you're different, blah, blah. Yes, I understand that. But what I'm trying to say to you is if I just listened to the news, I would have been stuck in there and having anxiety and shock. Yeah. But I thought I'm going to live my life according to me because I trust my own brain and I trust my own common sense. I believe in myself enough to trust that what I'm doing is sensible, to not endanger somebody else and not endanger myself. I trust myself, but people don't trust themselves, so they'll take that anger out on me for having my own brain to flipping think for myself.
This is literally the way I've been existing and what I've been.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's what annoys me. It's like you're basically not letting me think for myself.
The thing is, and when they go, trust the experts though, listen to the experts. The problem is, genuinely, I do.
Yeah.
And it's so split in the academic community.
It really is.
There's honestly so much information out there, misinformation out there, and there isn't just this agree upon.
No, there isn't.
This is what works. It is the vaccine. It is this. That is factual. Done. I knew we'd get into that road.
I know. Yeah,
demonetised, gone.
Exactly. But the thing is, Mike. Though, on a serious note, this showed me a lot about how not small-minded. I want to say this in the right way. How weak-minded a lot of people are, as in...
I don't know which was worse.
yeah. Small-minded is more when I think about not thinking outside the box. Weak-minded is, again, I'm going to say this again, going back to school, this is what's drilled into us. It's this not trusting your own brain. It's like conforming to what the teacher says. Stand up, sit down, go here, stand outside the thingy, da-da-da-da. So when it comes to these big things now, everybody must wear a mask. Well, I've got bad sinuses, bro. Bro, you should see me with a mask on, mate. I couldn't see through my glasses or nothing. I can't even breathe without a flipping mask on. That is not making me any healthier. I can tell you that for nothing. But my situation is different to other people. So I didn't want to wear a mask, but I'm bad because they told you should wear one, right? Yeah. So I don't believe that. I believe in what I believe in. And I've been a healthy person for years. I look after myself. I take as much natural nutrients as I can. I always have done. I've hardly ever ill, touch wood. So I trust. And my mother's a nurse, and even the information she's told me miles before this, and like I don't need to be told to wash my hands or sanitize. I've always done that. When we used to come in from home, mum straight away, wash your hands straight away, bro. Wash your hands before you eat. Change your clothes. I was brought up in a hygienic household, so that thing to me made me laugh. You have to tell grown people to wash your hands after you've been to the toilet. Are you having a laugh?
Yeah.
And we're supposed to be first world, and then these are the messages you're putting out. And then again, I'm going to switch it. How many messages and signs did we see saying COVID, whatever kills, this, that, and the third? I said to my mate, imagine if they did that with racism and made £1,000 fine. Put all these signs if you were racist or homophobic or whatever, it would be eradicated because people.
I was just thinking that.
People are so.
I've not thought of that, but I just thought, that really would eradicate.
If you put those signs up as much as you put that there, put all those things like don't be racist, everywhere you turn and look, and they put a fine on it, bro. That shit will be gone in a day or two, or 100%. Because, bro, if you can lock down people and make people stay in their homes and not work and not go to the pub and not eat, you can get them to stop being racist, bro. That's the easiest fucking thing you can do. So, to me, it shows what this establishment's priorities are. And it's all monetary, to me, personally. Again, not saying it doesn't exist. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is the gains for this are not to do with our health. Not to do with us as our well-being. It's to do with financial gains for a lot of people and to destroy a lot of other people. But that's another story. We can go down that another day.
We should have a whole series together.
I know, yeah. We should get just with Rogan, man. I'm telling you, he'd love us.
He'd be our mate.
He'd love us.
Me, you, him, I reckon a couple other people just on this round table together going for it.
I'd love to get that.
Dude, honestly. And the thing you said about masks there, I was very balanced in this whole situation. The mask for me, I only wore it in a matter of respect for certain people to make them feel better, comfortable. An old lady may feel nervous to go out for the day. I thought, just pocket it doesn't affect me. As soon as everyone's demanding that I go and get a shot in my arm, in my body, and everyone's telling me I'm a bad person for not doing it because I'm killing this person and that, I'm going, you are awful people yourselves in a genuine, honest around way. It's like you really aren't respecting my freedoms as a human now, and I don't appreciate it's how people, I've done a thing, therefore you must do this thing because their egos are so strong on this. I've been told this information. This must be a truth. I know a truth. You're an idiot. That's literally the equation it comes to. Bro, how many times have humans been wrong?
Exactly. We're allowed to be wrong. And, bro, there's a similar situation to before when Muslim people were wearing the niqab and hijab, and they were saying, we can't see their faces. It's a security risk. We can't see their faces. They're covering their faces up. And then now then the masks come in, and then now all of a sudden it's not a security risk. And you've got guys that go around with the hoods up, and masked up to there, bro. You can only literally see their eyes, bro. Do you know that? By the way, burglary went up by 80%, but they didn't put that. They didn't put that in the news. Shoplifting and all these things. But what I'm saying to you is, bro, is that whenever it suits human beings, sadly, not everybody, but a lot of human beings will just go with the consensus because it's easy to go with the consensus, and then they start getting dead passionate about it, like they know everything about the situation, like they know it. And so, does that make you a better person than the person who you're telling is an idiot for not putting a mask on or not taking a jab? And what I'm trying to say to you is, people said, oh yeah, these people who wear hijabs and niqabs are being forced to do it. It's what do they say? Oppression to them, these women, and this is their religion. 90% do it out of their own choice. They want to wear it, yeah. But now you don't want to take your jab. I don't want to take a jab. Now you are a bad person. You're killing people now. You're evil. So isn't that the exact same mentality of you're saying to somebody who is wearing a niqab for their own choice, by the way, but you're saying they're forced to it. It's oppression, but you're oppressing somebody for not taking a jab. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's not putting yourself in the shoes of somebody else.
The one thing for the jabs for me, like Chrissy works in a school, when she came back, she said that the kids are actually allowed, even if the parents have signed a consent, say they can have the jabs because the jabs are in the schools. Yeah. If the kids say I don't want it, they don't have it.
Yeah.
I mean, if science was 100% absolute,
there'd be no choice.
We're so sure on this works.
No
you wouldn't allow a 14-year-old
to
to go. I'm all right, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh well, we can't force you to do anything.
I
mean, there has to be something in that truth spectrum.
There's too many contradictions for me, bro. Even when the pubs are open, you can't stand up, but you can sit down. So COVID's in the air there, but it's not down there. Come on, man.
Well, the thing about this podcast, I have to edit this, and we're literally over 2 hours in.
Are we?
So, dude, you've got places to be, things to do. Just promote your book again.
Yes.
Hold it up to this camera.
Yo,
get it, baby.
I'm not being funny to you because I wrote it. He's put a blurb on the back. Do you want to read your blurb, by the way?
Yes, go on.
Go on then. So it's better than me doing it.
Oh, it talks about me in a good way. I like that starting bit. But I'll just read my blurb bit. I know what I've done. I know my accolades. True Colours has the most authentic poetry and energy that strikes a chord deep within. Outspoken is not just poetry, it is life.
He ain't lying. Thank you very much, bro. That's why it's better for him to say it. But yo, get outspoken in more ways than one. Get outspoken in the book and get outspoken and speak your mind. Be true to you, I'll show you true colours. And by the way, I've got you another present, bro.
No, every time, man. You can't.
Well, it's only twice.
It's
only twice.
But, okay.
Twice. And I hope it fits. And I hope it's the right
mate.
one. I didn't check.
No way.
Please get it out and show
Okay, come on, guys. Oh, dude.
You don't know what it is yet.
Do you know what it is?
Do you know what it is? Rob, don't put me on Rob's.
Oh, what? Okay. Oh, mate, let's get that up to the camera. It says...
It's not black v white, it's love v hate, it's everyone v racist.
Oh, dude, look at that, guys.
That's life, man.
Look at that. I feel buzzing.
If you don't know, get to know.
Thank you so much, brother. That's really,
Treat
really
people
sweet
like you want to be treated. Show your true colours.
Oh, I'm buzzing for that. Thank you, my man.
It's a large as well, bro. So
dude, thank you so much for being here
today.
Man,
thanks for having
this.
me, bro. I can do that without it.
We should do a podcast together. Like,
Defo, bro.
I mean, we've done one, but I'd do a whole series with you.
Bro, you know what, though? We can talk for England and Nigeria and Persia.
Do you know what? Thinking about it, we could call it something on the nuance spectrum because, like, life is nuanced, but it's the black and the white sort of... Oh.
With that cheesy, ebony and ivory.
Yeah. Cheese is what I go with, baby. Okay,
thank you, man. Respect, bro.
Guys, thank you for being a part of the Old Farm Bus, Back of the Bus Sessions podcast. Remember what I leave you with every time. This is it from now on. Just be nice to one another, you beautiful buggers. That's all I care about. Massive love to you. Emeka.
Respect, bro.
You've been outspoken.
Always. I love that. Great end.